Yes, please join the Foundry and we will kick off the epilogue session of this campaign. And we'll see the story as a whole or maybe season, but this is a talk we'll get to towards the end. You were playing a League of Legends match, or I misunderstood something?
Yeah, we were in ARAM.
Oh, thankfully it was ARAM. Usually they are
Yeah,
quick.
I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, pull the plug.
Here, just so you see that I wasn't lying.
Hmm.
I
Bro,
don't
I
know. I
don't
don't know
know.
why it's wrong.
That's weird as hell.
Yeah, like I
Wait a
know now
second.
that it's wrong. I just didn't know why.
Yeah, that is weird. Your own time zone is set wrong.
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, to be honest, it's just remember that Mexico changes so there's like no daylight savings anymore. But for some reason, Google hasn't. So Google keeps trying to change my time zone back to what it's supposed to be instead of what it actually is. So that's why I'm always like an hour off.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking weird. Okay, anyways, hello, I'm
All
here.
right. So, last time we met our heroes, they have defeated the strongest, the most deadly challenge yet in their burgeoning careers. They have faced the Fallen, the nemesis of Pastor, the one that had great plans for Pastor's power source. But even though it was close, even though some of you were, again, really close towards death, through perseverance, through sheer stubbornness, through grit, and some ingenious ideas, as with Sasa's idea to manipulate the, as you now hover over the icon, the Angel of the Dark, as is the name of the creature. You have prevailed against the Fallen with Pastor through his guardian spirits, or I believe that was their name, managing to strike the final blow. And as that happened, as the Fallen being one of the, not conduits, but one of the important elements of this network of power, this matrix of energy that permeated throughout this area, the Rift of Light just above you, well, looking at the map, started taking. This entire place started rumbling, but it felt not merely physical, but ethereal and magical rumbling as well. And as the wave of light overcame you, probably a vision. And just for like bookkeeping purposes, won't be too much important, but basically when the combat ended, you like your bodies started feeling like tired, as in the adrenaline, the spark of life that was pushing you forwards, that was allowing you to rise up despite the magnitude of injuries that you have received, started fading away. And that is my fluff way of saying that per the lingering injuries rules, basically after the combat ends, the temporary hit points gained from gambles and whatnot, those go away. Then saying that just in case. And allow me to change the music. You see something else, and yet familiar. And also, just in case, you all are able to see one another, kinda like these spectral beings floating in the air, but you are able to recognize one another standing, rather floating on nothing really, kinda like up in the air. And I say you recognize the sight because as you look down below, you see the darkened surface of your world, and you see the various lights pointing out the bastions that managed to survive the War of Dawn. But there's a difference. You cannot really say why, but you feel in your gut that a lot of time has passed, or rather, a lot of time is passing. On Eclipse, from your point of view, and due to the distraction, it's at first hard to notice that, but even then, when you like squint, when you focus, you can't help but see those like pulses going by one after another as the world rolls forward. And then, after what you imagine is years, decades, centuries, long after the natural lifespan of your cells would have run out, there's a difference on the sky. As a new rift opens, and the world of Eclipse, abandoned so long ago by the gods, left to fend for itself, isolated from the rest of the multiverse, from the rest of planes of existence, receives new guests for the first time in 1200 years. And then, without seeing too many details, as you basically more have this like big picture kind of look zoomed out, these new guests bring war. But this time, the War of Dawn. And if you wish, you may roll either perception checks or wisdom saving throws, but the DC will be 25. This is something you can do, you don't have to.
So it was wisdom checks and what, sorry?
It was either perception or wisdom saving throw. DC of 25.
Oh, bastard!
Fitting.
There's no way I'm rolling high enough, yeah.
Wait, do we have +0 to perception?
Yeah.
Okay. And just for bookkeeping purposes, because I'm actually curious, what would be the natural lifespan of your characters? Like per the book rules, I guess.
Same as a human's.
Unknown, because Warforged.
Yes, I assume that's much. That Warforged are like, where dying from natural causes is much harder for you.
Fairies, I'm pretty sure it's 100 years, like around 100 years. Yeah, it is. Lifespan of about a century.
180.
Alright, so as I mentioned before, you have this deep gut feeling that what you are witnessing right now would have been happening long after you would be gone from this world. Again, assuming nothing unnatural happened along the way. Because no matter how hard you would try to focus, you don't really see yourselves. Is it because it would be too specific, or is it because your future is not set in stone? You do not know, but you do not see yourselves as the time goes on and the future flashes before your eyes. And only Pastor, as the War of Dawn is set upon this world, you will leave the vision with 2 additional bits of information. One, the War of Dawn will only be a partial success. You will see that the star up in the sky, this ugly pulsating wound, will be, well, somewhat repaired, but not from the looks of it, but basically it will look like there is some semblance of day and night rotation being brought in. I'm blanking on the right word to use. Day-night cycle, I should say, although still skewered towards the
night.
Towards the night, and you feel that some divine power was needed for this, and yet you cannot help but think that it was only a battery, and what you are looking at is the magnum opus and some success for the Maple Dynasty, whatever form it may take. Either through blood or bonds, it remains to be seen. But then, second thing that you notice, even briefly, you know that the folks of the Eclipse are hardy. You have proven that yourself just moments before fighting against the Fallen. That the wounds that would kill any lesser man, they do not keep you down. You see something similar. You see several figures, flashes of different fights raging across the surface of Eclipse or in the skies. You see warriors, mages, wearing different uniforms, nothing indicating they belong to the same army, at least from uniform standpoint, but they do carry symbols, a symbol, specific one, either a symbol or a tattoo. You would have no idea, no chance of knowing what that is or what does it represent, but you see that even if some of them fall, some of them die, you know for sure that they have perished. A short moment passes, and then they are returning to life, ready to continue the fight. And 2 words echo through your mind: Eternal Wanderers.
Good.
And with that, for just a moment, your eyes do not look into the future. They glance into the past as well. You imagine, or well, I won't say what you imagine, but I will leave the why, up to your interpretation, but what you see, especially Pastor, as he seems to be at the forefront of this, and I imagine noting this with great interest, you see, not with many details, but a figure. One that you barely recognize as the Fallen, but he looks very different. He has no wings. His skin is not charred as it was. You see him as a Asimar. So with some relation to higher powers, but not what you fought with. You do not hear words, but you can definitely feel arrogance, pride, desire to prove himself. And just, you still imagine like pictures being taken throughout his life, but all of them just flash through your mind for a couple of moments. Him writing down some papers, him working in a workshop, him already partially changed, standing on a faraway hill or faraway hill overlooking the city of Hope. Him finding the church, this one, setting down his operations. Probably, apart from all the worst qualities that he had, perhaps between the lines, maybe, just maybe, at the very beginning, what he really wanted to find was a weapon to fight back against the darkness. But his own vices and sins and corruption that he allowed it into his heart, in the end, turned him into a raving lunatic. And with that, you return, standing just where you were, with the rift of light being no more. Just an empty crater, essentially, more or less, or like uneven wall. The swirling vortex of light around the being is also gone.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Since the temporary hit points right now,
You would
does that
be-
mean that I'm unconscious?
No, you would be at 1 hit point.
Okay.
Oh. And pass.
Uh,
So
okay.
probably, I want to give you like a moment to like play this in between one another in case you want to say anything or.
Right. Sasa is just like slowly floating down into the ground and kind of just like laying down, just completely bloodied from all the stab wounds and everything. And kind of just trying to comprehend what she just saw, what we all saw.
Pastor walks over and sits on the stairs here.
Yeah, Vale's gonna join him. We're gonna sit on the stairs. Thank you.
Kicking the falling to the side.
Kick him to the side. Just kick him on the side. Sit down on the stairs.
I
Oh,
do
shit.
remember you cut off his head, so
Yeah, Vale was like, I'm not taking any fucking chances.
Shit. Dude,
Every
also,
time there's a dead body, Vale has to remove the head.
He doesn't trust it anymore at this point.
no. I want
At
to
this point, they
search.
all have to get their heads cut off.
I want to see if the falling is carrying something. Sass is just like information.
for the
Go
sake
see body.
for the sake of brevity, I will say that he didn't have any research note on his person, like directly with him.
Okay.
But upon further examination of this place, because let's just say like this was like the main, like the primary sacrificial area, the part of his laboratory, air quotes, that he wanted to conclude his magnum opus. But there are like some other parts, like without specific map, but there are parts that you will be able to search and discover something, because it's still true what you have learned through your questions and visions. This was the person that you were to seek to gain more knowledge about your research. And because you didn't try to basically lead Angel of the Dark into oblivion, you will not be set back.
I'm just like laying down again on the floor, trying to think of what we saw earlier and trying to understand if the war of it was the war of dawn that we saw, like the new war that is coming in the future.
Very far future, yes.
Yeah, very far future,
Yes.
was the one that I was told about the revenge on the gods, or that the gods will be punished.
That is
But I
an
was told
excellent
something like that.
question, and I will allow you either intelligence save or not in save, intelligence ability check or a wisdom check. Your choice.
Intelligence. No. I'm too tired to think about it today.
Yes,
Yeah.
sadly,
I'm half dead.
as a DM, I cannot give you any more confirmation. You can think of whatever you want, whatever implications you might come up with, but yes, with that roll, sadly, I cannot give you a direct answer.
Also, Sasa, you gain some hit points, courtesy of
Oh.
our cleric man, wonderful cleric man.
Thank you. I'm no longer bleeding out.
I think Vale's just sort of like elbows on knees, looking at his hands right now.
Also, to be fair, some of the lingering injuries, they were mostly, some of them were like temporary for a few rounds. Some of them are not so temporary, to be honest.
I'm gonna have to ask the blacksmith for a walking stick.
I will just say we can mend your broken plates. It'll be fine.
Actually, the leg laceration is the one that you can treat with medicine check.
I know.
Oh shit, actually, yeah. What lingering injuries do I have? I don't remember.
Alright, you specifically, you ended up with 5, but like mitotic rejection goes after 4 turns, so that was long gone. There was path to your grave, but that also like ends very quickly. What you have is this.
Yeah,
Illusory
from the
limp
leg.
was the one that was like from way back. way back
Yeah,
when.
my funky leg.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and he has the fairy fire. I'm still glowing. I forgot.
However, the unearthly glow goes away after 14 hours. That's
Yeah.
again one of the temporary lingering injuries.
So I have a funky leg, and part of my hand is just turned black. Okay, that looks kind of cool, honestly.
To be fair, with the Dark Vessels, I find it thematically appropriate because one of the main goals of your research is to be able to like wield Radiant and Necrotic in balance.
Yeah, it's very, very on brand. I just hope that I don't go crazy again. Now I know that I can go crazy. I'm going to take out my journal. I'm gonna hand it to Pastor.
Oh. Okay.
I don't think you understand like much of it because it's in Sylvan, but I will let Pastor read through what he can. And I'm just gonna tell him like, okay, this page has wacky language that makes my brain hurt and my nose bleed. So be careful.
All right. I will look through the journal, I guess. Does that require any rolls?
Are you also trying to go for the dangerous bits?
Sure.
Oh boy.
Oh, that sigh, that's scary.
We just
Woo!
dude.
Yeah. Pastor's life is coming short here.
You're at HP.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
No wonder I only have
Yeah.
one freaking lingering injury. It's because I'm not
DC 20.
really-
Oh, never mind.
Woo!
What the fuck?
Holy
Never punish. Never punish this bitch.
What the others see from the outside perspective, Pastor's hands start shifting through page after page, going so quickly that you even wonder if he even is able to read all of that stuff. The colors that he radiates shift from green to red
Wait.
to yellow
Oh.
to green to red to blue. It's a constant prismatic change shift that emanates around him.
Sassy's just like, I broke Pastor again. Shit.
And Pastor, what you see as you started reading through the words of the divine, the words that were not meant to be listened by mortal ears. But you can be killed, but your definition of mortality is somewhat skewed, isn't it? And while you gain insight with capital E, your body stays here, but your mind is a different place. Just for a moment.
Holy shit, map change and everything.
Oh.
Flash power?
No, this. Oh my.
And this time, there are no angels of fire, and you stride through these stairs with purpose as you go into the light. And this time, once again, you witness the light in all of its glory, all of its horror. As you see, the tower of flesh, without beginning, without end. Its surface, a mix of writing, hands, faces frozen in rage, in fear, in scream, in happiness, in determination. An edifice of sacrifice. As you gain understanding as the cleric of light, what truly you are looking at. And you do hear words echoing all around you. Not spoken, but felt. And they repeat several times. That if I'll give you this opportunity, if you wish, you can either make your choice. You can either make history check or arcana check or religion check or wisdom check. Do you want me to repeat that, Pastor?
You said history wasn't right.
Yeah, it was an option, yes.
Okay.
$11 doesn't give you an additional bit of information, but rolling from that previous 28, I will give you this. What you are looking at is the light. But you now know the light is an artificial god. But who created it? How? Well, that's something to be seen in the future. Yes. Saying, above the board, I know where it is, who made it, so that history roll if it was a little bit better.
Yep.
And you feel yourself being pulled away, but before that goes through, hearing those simple keywords essentially, and basically having this realization of what you are looking at, Does Pastor say anything in response, or does he witness this in silence?
I feel like Pastor wants to say something, but he doesn't quite know what. So he sits there for a while.
Understand. And yes. You, well, not physically, but you get this mental sensation of blinking, and instead of being here, you find yourself back with the rest of your companions.
You see Sasa half reaching for you, like he was about to try to wake you up until you like snap out of it.
The lights immediately go back to blue.
Did you see anything?
And the moment they snap back to blue, the moment light show stops, the book, the diary snaps close in your hand. As in, you did the motion, even if not consciously, just like your hand just snapped the book close.
Did you see anything? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
That wasn't very convincing.
I
You're
figured
not
not.
a good liar.
Despite the lack of facial expression, I'm not very good at it. He's going to hand the book back.
She's like texting. She's like, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Well, we got all the time in the world. You want to talk about it?
I should think on it first.
That's fair.
Okay.
After all, we saw the future. We gotta preserve it.
I don't know if there's much we can do.
And we did kill a fallen just now, so I think we did something already.
But how do we know that didn't cause it? Future.
Well, I'm pretty sure that if we let him live, the future would have been even worse.
I hope so.
So,
Silence as your companions are talking, and you're standing to the side next to the shattered crystal. Is there anything you do, or are there any specific thoughts going through your mind?
No, I'm just by, just watching.
Alright, just making sure. And speaking of... sorry, just one more thing and I will get back to you, Sasa. And it's surprisingly when Vale says something about all the time in the world, because now that the rift is gone, there's no light. It is pretty much dark in here, but you realize it is quiet, like deep within your souls. You experience enough of the dark wilderness to know that darkness is the enemy and you should expect shadows or other monsters to spawn around every corner, but even without that big source of light right now, it feels like there's peace and quiet in this place.
like a sanctuary.
Perhaps.
I think I will definitely point that out toward everyone. It feels oddly I guess, quiet in here. I mean, I can barely see a thing, but still.
I guess there are some places that even dark used.
About time that we catch a break. Vale just lets himself fall back and begins to slightly doze off until we decide to leave.
Alright. So I thought we should probably just stay and go back to where the angel is. Like this one. And try to see what is changing.
Essentially, the Angel of the Dark will be slightly less long term, but still some downtime dedicated towards. Well, that depends what you want to achieve with it. Will you wish to activate it, or will you wish to scavenge it for research material to essentially break it down into base elements?
I don't think it's a decision I should make right now, so I'll leave it here for now. Does it look like it's gonna like expire or something?
No, it's inert. It's not active. It's not alive. Is such a not a prepared word for it, but it's not dead. It just lacks proper power source.
Alright. And that's what he was trying to get from Pastor, right?
Yes, he was screaming something about. Yes, I believe I said light matrix or
Yeah.
Parker or something like
Matrix.
that.
Sasuke just thinking like, now I have to figure out how to turn this thing on with a new power source. Without killing my friends. Alright. I guess I'll go back and say, now that we know our way here, do we want to go back to the city? Let everyone know we're still here?
Probably be for the best.
Or do we want to take a little rest before we leave so we don't get points at the stab wounds on her chest?
You guys look like you could fall over at any second.
We're not that far from town.
Yeah, but we did get
we're in direct line of the patrols.
say that to the dragon from before.
We were teleported there.
Yeah, you're right. She's gonna
I can
start
just
like
scout the road out before you guys make your way up it.
I think we'd take a small break while you go check that out, and then we go.
Alright.
Where's Pastor going?
He's just slowly limping down the stair.
Pastor, just take a break for like 2 seconds, please. He's gonna stop it. He's gonna get in front of me. He's gonna put his hands on your shoulders. Just sit down for 30 minutes. And he's gonna gently push you down so you're sitting on the stairs again. I'll be right
Sit
back.
down, old man, rest.
And he's gonna go scout the roads real fast.
Alright. Sake of brevity, I'm gonna put you for a moment here.
Okay. While I just want like flavor text while we are waiting. Sasa is spending her short rest, crafting a little walking stick for Pastor with her wood carver's tools and her quarterstaff. Like here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. not a problem. But yeah, for the sake of brevity, two things. One, either now or in the future, you'll be able to like find, and Sasa essentially will be able to scavenge the workshop / laboratory of the Fallen and get his research notes and basically get back what he stole from you. So that's that. And two, I'll leave it up to Pale how he feels about that, but as he's scouting ahead, the place, the underground, despite again the lack of light, is eerily
Why is there a bird?
quiet, tranquil.
Then after a brisk walk with my 55 movement speed, I walk back to the group. Or not 55, 45, sorry. I'll walk back to the group. I'll say, alright, it's all clear.
And honestly, I do not have better analogy for this, but imagine if you could put radiant energy as a perfume, like a smell.
Like that, I imagine it's like that, like metal smell, like that tinge in the air. Like that metallic
hate it.
You know what I mean? Like chemically
I-
metallic smell?
Yeah,
I work in a workshop,
kinda
of course
also
I know.
Yeah.
It's fine, but this one doesn't threaten to give you radiant cancer, so radiation.
Radiant cancer.
Lead poisoning.
Because as a reminder, that rift near the hack, like a couple of sessions ago, that was a risk
Oh,
that if
yeah.
you failed Constitution save, you've gotten taking like radiation damage.
I mean, Vale did get a fucking chemotherapy of
I got
radiation.
chemo, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know that scent well.
So realizing that, definitely Veil, but I guess I'm not against others making that roll as well. If you imagine your characters would also realize this, you can give me Arcana check if you want.
I do want.
We did take a short rest, right?
I'm fine with that. That Veil scouted thoroughly enough that you will be able to take a short rest.
Then that means I don't know why it's not letting me do this.
Sadly, 10 is not enough, but with 17 and 21, considering your experiences and your level of ability, you are able to put a theory that is most likely correct, that this flash of light and the visions you saw and the fact that the rift was no more and you barely saw a crater without energy, that whatever was forming this crack, this rift of light, was dispelled, but in a way that it formed a wave of radiant energy that went through this area and seemingly cleansed it. Time will tell if it will be permanent or merely temporary.
Will Pastor tell this to Sasa?
Both
you
Pastor
also
and
learned.
Sasa get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it too. Okay. I'm noting it down. I'm writing it on the notes. She's like, holy shit, wait a second.
Vale just recounts oh yeah, it was really quiet and there was this weird metal smell in the air and both of you are like, what?
Excuse me. Oh my god.
Yep.
We got it.
Reminds me of the witch hut.
Wait, that gives me an idea. If we create an explosion of light of some sorts and we plant this, I just need to throw a big enough bomb into the sun. I point at what the sun shall be.
Oh god.
And
Vale
Sasa
looks
looking
at
just
you
like
you're fucking insane.
Sasa puts her arms in her hips, just like I did it. I am an arterialist
Pastor
after all. I just need a
immediately
big
looks
enough
like he's
cannon.
having a midlife crisis.
Vale is
I
just
just
like,
need a
no,
big enough cannon.
no fucking wonder there's a giant hole in the sky because there were so many of you people before.
Hey,
This is
didn't
where
we
the
figure
Maple
out?
Dynasty goes.
Didn't we say that the maples are gonna fix the sun eventually? I have hopes for my people.
Don't know if you can fix it that way.
I
And
mean,
honestly, I hope I'm
Please
dead by
find
the
another
time you
way.
try.
Please find another way.
they're not fun.
No fun.
I just got my little cannon and I carried it like a baby.
Feels like we almost all died multiple times.
Yeah,
and now
I
you
was
just
gonna
want
say
to throw
because of
the
my
entire
cannon.
world away by throwing a bomb into the rift.
Pastor's
I
just
just
thinking
wanted to
about
throw
the
it into
future
the
now,
star.
like, oh no. Oh no.
See, we're never getting out of this pain with that attitude.
I'm okay with living here like it is. Even if it is hell. It's better than living in... We're better than not living. From a freaking bomb exploding the rift.
In the sun, I say, in the star. Not
There's
here.
no longer a sun up there.
Yeah, there
There
is. It
is
just
no
cracked.
sun.
Wait, okay, DM. Is there or is there not a sun? I'm pretty sure it's just very cracked.
There is no celestial body as we understand it. Like, there is no ball of cracked light. It is more of a closer to a warp rift from Warhammer. This ugly
I
wound
see.
that sometimes, like every 12 hours, as Eclipse citizens imagine, it pulses with just a tiny little bit of light. And I just want to interject with one more thing because I forgot. History check wasn't enough, Pastor, but with that natural 20 for a total of 28, you would know one more thing. Seeing the light in all of its horrifying glory.
Yep.
No matter what you would think about it, you know one very basic fact. If this artificial god goes away, if this existence is snuffed out, the light as a concept loses power. And the last survivors of Eclipse will be gone as well.
Good. Understood.
Yeah, that goes with what Saturn knows too, so that's kind of fucking creepy still.
Pastor is just like saving certain thoughts, just like, again, I keep that in mind for the future. It's just straight up like, I have a lot of work to do now.
We all do, I think.
Above the board, I like the concept of that. Oh yeah, we are dealing with abominations, horrifying shit, but guess what? The source of our power, in some cases, the one thing that keeps us all alive, it's abomination as well.
Yeah. Gotta keep the gotta keep the artificial god from letting us fall to the new birthing god. The Atrofall that I almost summoned.
I just want to get back to the forge. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. And thinking your thoughts, sometimes discussing between another, enjoying this rare moment of peace, slowly, tired, or maybe slightly less tired now that some of you have taken short rest. You make your way back to the city. And there are two things that you immediately notice. One, during your time away, because it was definitely some hours down there, especially since you have taken long rest right after the dragon fight. The City of Hope also had its share of troubles, it seems like. As when returning to the city... Okay, now I can disable that. Disable that. You basically see the aftermath of a large-scale skirmish between the defenders and some form of undead attackers. You definitely see remains of horse skeletons.
Oh yeah, horseman.
Whoa,
Yes.
freaking horse lord.
And
Been a while since we've.
not
seen
the
that.
headless, not the headless horsemen, just
Okay.
basically skeletal warriors on skeletal horses, war horses,
okay.
essentially. This. So it basically, after a moment, for the brevity's sake, if you like see around what's what and you ask some of the other guards, they do mention that there was basically a few hit and run attacks between with some sort of, weirdly enough, cavalry force, undead cavalry. And they will notice that in the further down the lines, it didn't engage them directly, but they did notice basically armored humanoid figure that they think it might have been another skeleton, but then something, it didn't have heads and it had like weird flame coming out of it. They were not sure, but it was kinda rough. And they probably, some of the guards might recognize you and they will lead you, not lead you, but point you towards where your friend is. And by friend, I mean Dugan, which you will spot / find as is being fretted over by 2 other guards, including Rolf, that are trying to figure out how they can help him, because when you will see Dugan, he took a lance charge directly to his body, and due to his werebear form, he's alive, he's breathing, he's sitting conscious, fully conscious, but near his ribcage area, going straight through his body, there is a lance sticking through.
Hmm. Pastor, can you help me with this?
Oh, hey, I see you're alive. And he looks at you, looks down, and he's like, oh, it's, I guess, don't take it the wrong way, but you kinda look worse than I do.
Yeah, I know. We've been through a
Says the
ringer.
person with full health.
He says I know as in on behalf of the group.
Yeah. Faster
immediately
immediately going to use Cure Wound 2nd level.
Wait, shouldn't we take the spear out
You
first?
take the spear out first.
Yeah, buddy, that's a good thing, but I don't think I will push it out automatically, you know, so...
Yeah.
Apart from magic, do you know the, like, surgery stuff?
Oh god, hold on.
Surgery magic.
And above the
Medicine check.
He means medicine check, yes.
Oh, good shit.
27.
Oh, right, Pastor, will you need my help with that? Just some mundane things? If I need to, like, hold the lance, for example?
Well, you
You
can help
hold
me
the
by
lance.
heaving. Just
Okay. Just hold in
basically
there,
saying
Mr.
to
Dugan.
take it out and help with wrapping after like stitching him up.
Yes, you successfully managed to operate on Dugan. The lance is taken off his body, and some of the wounds are healed. Like the main wound, the main hole in his body has been healed. I know mechanically it doesn't really work that way, but fluff-wise, essentially, he managed to like survive this without too much pain because the weapon itself wasn't like purely magical, so his resistances slash immunities played a part in this. But still, the sheer force of the charge managed to like get the weapon through.
I assumed that it was like a critical hit or something.
I'm glad he's not dead.
Well, no one's dead as far as we know.
Hmm.
Actually, that's a good question. I'm gonna go to like a guard now. I'm gonna say, "Hey, have any of you know if the people at my master is alive? Is anyone dead?"
Checking around, asking about your friends and whatnot, you will realize that when it comes to your closest friends, associates, and family members, I guess you still have them, they are all alive. However, you will also learn that the recent attacks, actually, it's gonna.
You hear the rolling sound.
Interesting. However, you will hear that the fighting has been extremely fierce and close, and while everyone did their best, there were some casualties, fatalities in the guard rank as a result. But